morning, YouTube. Hey guys. Good morning. Good morning. So I'm on. This is this is YouTube and this is Facebook. Good morning. How are you guys doing? Today is day 3 of the series that we're doing. 5 habits of highly successful freelancers. I'm sorry, I'm a little late because I'm a mom and things happen. All right. And so I'm going to give you the information for today's video. We're going to jump straight into the content. But before we do, I still want to remind you that the resource Endless Clients is still available until Monday, May 21st at midnight. And then I will be taking it down. What is Endless Clients? Endless Clients is a collection of emails that have made me 5 figures this year as a freelancer, and I want to be able to share that with other people because I know that something that people struggle with is client acquisition. And so in this guide that I make available, I show you the emails that I use and I show you the psychology behind the emails so that you can steal that and then craft your own emails according to the formula that I give you so that you can have an endless stream of clients. Now, when I say endless stream of clients, I don't mean, a client that just comes to you one time and then bounces, but a client that wants to pay you over and over and over again, okay? That's what I mean by endless clients. And so if that sounds like something you want to be able to do, go ahead. The link is gum.co/5figures, gum.co/5figures. All right, gum.co/5figures, and you'll be able to grab that resource. It's only available until Monday at midnight. I just wanted to make sure that you guys know that. All right, so let's jump straight into today's content, right? So yes, the past 2 days have been great. I've really loved the feedback. I've loved the what I have been sharing with you, and even as I've been sharing this with you, it's been encouraging me too because sometimes you as a freelancer can be like, oh, I wonder if I'm doing things right, and then of course you reach out to other successful freelancers and they tell you, hey, you're on the right track, and you're like, okay, I'm going to share that with my people. And so really this has been really amazing for me to be able to share with you guys. And so the reason I came up with this was that I reached out to a bunch of freelancers that were making between $2,000 and $20,000 per month freelancing, and they gave me their very best tips for making money with freelancing, and I wanted to share that with you. All right, so today's tip number 3 is track your time, and this comes from Jackie Lamb from Hey Freelancer. Okay, she says, I have gotten into the habit of tracking my time with everything and aim to make X an hour. Sometimes an article that pays less than my standard rate may only take an hour or 2 to write. So I track how much time I spend on all aspects of an assignment, from researching to interviewing to writing and editing. It's certainly not a perfect science. Although I have an ideal hourly rate, which is $100 an hour, I don't have a hard minimum rate I go by per se, but at the end of the day, it's about the value you give on an assignment and the value it gives you, whether that's personal fulfillment or maybe a byline with a larger outlet. And so she's talking more about freelance writing, right? So she says, I hope this helps. So basically what Jackie is saying here, and Jackie is from heyfreelancer.com, what Jackie is saying here is that it's important to track your time. And I think yesterday I talked about this in the tip I gave for day 2, which was schedule your work. And I showed you my personal calendar. I showed you how important it is for you to use timers to give, to schedule your time when you are doing your freelance work. And in this tip, she is just saying, track your time. And that's important because you want to be able to meet, at the end of the day, you want to be able to meet at least the minimum that you set for yourself. And so an example I gave on day 1 was, if you want to make $50 an hour, then it's important that you are tracking your time so that you're not making $10 an hour, and when you're doing the project. So when you take on a project, how much time is it going to take you, and how much time do you have in a week? And, and how much time does it take you to complete it? And if you're able to take a look at that and then you'll be able to charge properly. It does two things. Number one, it helps you get your work done because you're tracking time, and number two, it helps you to charge the right amount, because at the end of the day, we don't want to create a second low paying job for ourselves with freelancing. We want to be able to create a paying situation. All right, and my take on that is that that's what I wrote. I said tracking time you spend on projects will also help you determine the ideal rate to charge. And it also lets you know which projects to take on and which projects to let go. So that if somebody comes to you and they're like, oh, I'll pay you this much, even though it sounds like a lot, when you think about the average time it takes you to complete such a project, you'll be able to know immediately that no, like just based on a rough estimation, if my ideal rate is $50 an hour, what this person is going to pay me, I'm going to end up making $15 an hour. And actually, I run into a similar issue like that recently, where I was producing a piece of content for a client, and it took me around 6 hours to do all the research, to put the article together, to read through and make sure I didn't have grammatical errors and spelling errors. And at the end of the day, when I calculated like how much I was being paid for the 6 to 7 hours I had just spent on just the one piece of content, I was just telling my husband, I'm like, I don't think this is worth it, And then tracking your time will also help you to become more efficient, because when you see that, okay, this thing is taking me way too long, you can either let go of the project, or you can find ways to better optimize your time. And so maybe this person, because at the end of the day, I even realized that when I submitted this article to the client, the research I had done was almost like, well, you didn't need to do all that research. And I'm like, well, I value my work, and if I'm going to have work that has my name on it, I want to be able to produce the highest quality of work. But tracking my time because that was the first thing I was doing for the client, and I knew, and this is why this is advice, they caution, because I did this myself. I knew taking on the project that it was a little low paying, but I kind of justified it because I was like, oh well, so and so. I justified it in my head, and then I went into it, and it ended up being exactly what I suspected. So, this is not a perfect science. Sometimes you take things on and you think it's okay and you justify it in your head, and you find out later, well, it is as bad as I thought it was going to be. All right. So track your time and don't get caught in the cycle of doing little work for so little pay that you can hardly live on it. And that's what comes with tracking your time. And for Jackie, her hourly rate was like $100 an hour. She had set that, and even though like maybe she may do work for $80 an hour, she's still making sure that she's getting a lot of value herself from the work that she's doing. And also one other thing, like when you are underpaid, because you're not very motivated, you don't do a great job. I will be totally honest with you. When you are compensated well for your freelance work, you give it your all, because you know that people are paying you serious money, because you know how hard it is to come by money. And so you end up working super hard to make sure that the people are impressed, to make sure that your name is, see, and that's the thing, is like, for me, it's all about my name is behind this work. Like my reputation as a freelancer is at stake here, and so it's important that I do quality work. But if you're not getting paid very well, you're not very motivated, and so you're not going to do a great job. So that's another reason why it's important that you track your time, so that you are getting paid how much you need to get paid, so that you do an excellent job. Okay, guys? So once again, if you have any questions, that's the tip for day 3. The tips for day 1 and day 2 are up on Facebook. They're up on YouTube. You can go back and watch them. They're really juicy tips. And I know that each of these tips are things that if you take seriously, you will no doubt be successful as a freelancer. All right. So let me know if you have any questions. Once again, gum.co/5figures, endless clients, helping you get an endless stream of clients so that you get paid what you're worth as a freelancer. All right. All right, guys, you have a wonderful Saturday.